everyone, Amy here. Today is another one of my novel updates. So this is where I talk about the state of my NaNoWriMo novel. So if that interests you, keep on watching. First, I'm sorry about my state. I went to the grocery store and got caught in the rain. It was like pouring torrential rain, and I have all these parasols, but I'm like, it's not going to rain again, and it rained. And I really wanted to get this kind of filmed since I'm starting the next phase on Monday, and I just wanted to get it over with. So I look like a drowned sewer rat. I know I'm sorry. I don't care. No. So from December 8th through December 15th, I read my story twice. The first time I read it, I didn't make any kind of editing marks or anything at all, and the second time I marked it all up. It took me about 2 days to go through it all, just reading it first, and then 4 days to edit and read. What I did is, with each chapter I wrote little notes about it. I try not to do very specific ones because I know I'm kind of basically going to rewrite all of these, so I just did kind of little notes. I also tried to mention stuff, like if, you know, in chapter 32 my character suddenly has a knife, I'm like, well, let me put a note to mention it in chapter 11, that way it doesn't come up as like, where did he get this knife from? And at the payoff I need to put the pickup in there for future reference. After I finished reading each chapter, I did one of these, which was what was good, which obviously all of mine just had a little bit of what was good. And then I put what needed to be worked on, and then how I was going to fix those, which is, I think, is by far the most important thing to write. Just don't say, put in, what did I put? For this chapter I put, move, disconnect between what happens. The events don't feel emotionally heavy enough. So that was what needed work. And my how to implement these changes, I put add more details from Naoru's point of view, which is my main character. Describe how things feel. The first person he brought home in years. And I put change the place he's fixing clothes to the bathroom. So these were very explicit ways on how to fix it. That way when I do go back and revise, I kind of have my plan already done. I have the work finished. And this took, I did like 10 chapters a day, and oh my, I stayed up so late to do it. And to get them done and ready when I wanted them. You know, some things I noticed, I got really like annoyed at my character because you're reading this book, you know, twice in a very short amount of time, and you're just getting so tired of them sometimes. So you have to learn to like really like your MC, and right now, like towards the end, I'm like, oh my, stop complaining. I don't even think he complains that much, but he's just like, I'm like, stop, you know, doing whatever you want. Go be at least somewhat more of a decent person. So I grew to like really kind of like grumble at my MC a lot. So that's something I'm going to try to work on when I'm editing, because, you know, any tiny thing your MC does, like any of those nervous quirks, like I always described how humid the weather was because it's summer, and I think that was my opening paragraph for every single chapter, describing how humid it was. And I'm like, oh my, stop it. Stop talking about how humid it was. It's stupid and annoying. Stop it. So I found, you know, reading it so quickly, you find those things that you just wrote constantly and need to fix. So after reading it twice, I did the plot checklist, and it was really easy to do. It's like, bam! There you go, because my plot was fairly well shaped out before I got my story typed out. I will say the most interesting thing is, remember when I said I was going to rank the chapters from worst to best? That way I had a map for what ones to fix first, and I said I would have seeded sequel for every single chapter, so I don't think that there's going to be any ones that are bad up there. Well, while reading it a second time, I discovered that my chapter 15 was useless, and I didn't need it. So I quickly X that one out, because that's going to be the chapter I threw out. I have all my chapters here, and I'm going to start walking down the list, correcting them. That way my worst chapters get fixed first, and my better chapters get fixed last, because let's face it, towards the end you're kind of burned out and don't care. To help myself along, I just quickly rated my chapters 1 through 5, 1 being the worst and 5 being the best. And I didn't really think of it as worst and best, but more of, you know, 5 doesn't need that much work and 1 needs lots of work. So I did that. I think my rankings were like, I got really specific sometimes. I put like, this is a 0.7, or this is a 0.2, and you know, I still have not done the little mini character chart, which is what I need to do, and I plan on doing that later on today because it is still technically Sunday, so I still have time. My next batch of things I'm doing from December 16th to January 18th is fixing all these chapters. So I have 40 chapters, and that is not 40 days. I believe, you know, all these deadlines I'm putting upon myself are kind of compact and they don't really leave room to dilly or dally. And I think that was one thing that NaNoWriMo did. It forced us to say, oh, I'm going to make this a priority. I'm going to write this out and I'm going to do it. I think putting in that time crunch where it's really, really hard and difficult to get everything done that you really want to get done and you don't have any time for a break is really helpful with making you write every day and forced to do that. It's raining outside still. I don't think it's going to let up, but I really wanted to get this filmed. So that's it. How is your NaNoWriMo novel going? Are you still writing? It's raining. I hope you can't hear that. Maybe I should talk louder. How's your NaNoWriMo novel doing? Are you still working on it? Have you picked up the revising tools and such? And I'll probably update maybe in the middle of this span of time just so you can see how I'm doing with this. I'm gonna try. I do work full time, so this is like with, you know, 40-hour work week going on in writing this. So don't think I just sit around all day and just write. No, I work a full-time job too. So let's see how this works out. Tell me how your novel's going. If you want to subscribe to me, subscribe. I talk about writing, passion, and tea. And if you like any of those topics, you can just listen to those. So until next time, bye-bye.